It's Anakin back again, and welcome to 2018, and welcome to, I guess, the revamp of my channel, because if you haven't noticed, there's been a severe lack of videos in kind of all of 2017. And to kind of compensate for that, I know it's not going to do much. I'm going to go through, and I have a list, and I'm going to go through every single big thing, kind of like a best of 2017 thing, along with my movies that I love, my top 10 list, like things in certain TVs that I love, things in even gaming this time, which is weird because I'm not a gamer. So, movies, let's get this. I am a stickler for movies. I love movies. I love film in general, but as you can see from behind me, I have passionate, kind of my nerdy side when it comes to this stuff. So, my top 10 movies. First off, a couple first ones are not going to be anything super comic book related, but I'm going to start off with, if you have not seen this movie, or you have not seen the movie that comes before it, I suggest watching it, and it is called Split. And I saw this movie in, I believe, January, so over a year ago, and it was absolutely freaking amazing because it was the first time that I saw Unbreakable, and then I immediately went and saw Split right after. And seriously, one of the best twists of all time. And James McAvoy, amazing performance. I have no idea how he's not at least been nominated, or has not been talks for him getting Oscars, because that man deserves it. Alright, number 9, Baby Driver. This is nothing that has to do with comics except the director of this, Edgar Wright, who I love his films, and I would have loved to see what he did with Ant-Man, but this movie, oh, it's amazing. Jon Bernthal, for the brief moment he's in this movie, is awesome, but Ansel Elgort, Jon Hamm, sadly Kevin Spacey isn't that respected as an actor, but he was decent in this movie. But all around this movie, it is an amazing film, and it is one of the most stylish movies I've ever seen, and just the plot in itself, I loved it, had to make it in my top 10, and now, weird for me, a horror movie, and this is actually one of the movies I never thought I'd ever see in the world, and that is It! Like, oh my god, dude, this movie is insane, this movie is awesome, but being a fan of Stranger Things, this movie hit right home for me, and it really like solidified my fear that I really don't have a fear of clowns anymore, because this movie has such charm, and this movie clearly made a dent in the box office this year, and it proved that not only R-rated movies can do well, but R-rated horror movies can do well, and I am so happy for this movie that not only it broke pop culture, but it broke new ground for the horror genre as a whole. Now, next up, we're getting into more my bread and butter, Guardians 2 as my next favorite movie, and I actually loved Guardians 2 because even though everyone's saying that it's not as good as Guardians 1, which I agree, but I still love this movie because being and coming from a blended family, and you get to see like how Peter Quill, and you get to see how Gamora, you get to see how all these Guardians members deal with it, especially with Kurt Russell. Oh, Kurt Russell, man. Kurt Russell coming into this movie and being Peter Quill's father. And I thought the dynamic was great, and I think to appreciate this movie more, you think of it as a blended or dysfunctional family movie. That's where this movie lies, and I think the humor was awesome. I think the soundtrack was good. I feel like I love Guardians 1 more because Guardians 1 came out at a time where it was really influential. Everything that came out that year is still influential on me, and I love that movie to the death, and it's one of my favorite Marvel movies and superhero movies of all time, so it's kind of hard to compare to it, because I feel like this was just a lot of fun. Now, next up, speaking of fun, Thor Ragnarok. Thor Ragnarok, oh my god. This movie, Taika Waititi he really reinvigorated the Thor franchise, because Thor has always been one of my least favorite Avengers, even though I still love him and his movies. It really changed the game, man. Like, it changed a lot for me personally. I love Thor, and I love this movie, especially as a comic fan and wanting to see Planet Hulk on screen for years and years. To actually see this, I was speechless. And how funny this movie is, it is not even comparable. It is so funny. I think it's definitely one of the funnest times I've had in the theater all year. Now, next up, you gotta love Wonder Woman, man. Wonder Woman, oh man, dude. This movie it is an understatement to say that this movie is just short of from amazing, and especially what this movie did for women, for women nerds around the world, for just people in general who love this character, and the fact that it has been 75 years that this character has existed, and it's now getting a movie now. The fact that Gal Gadot and Patty Jenkins were able to put this movie to screen, it definitely solidifies as one of the greats of all time, especially in the wheelhouse of DC, along with that one right there. Now, next up, I do not care what anybody in the world says. I love Justice League with all of my heart. And yes, this movie had so many problems, but if you take apart and you love it for what it is, and you take into account how much this movie and how much these people, these directors, these actors had to endure to get through this movie and actually get it made, it is amazing to see what they're able to do, and I could not be happier with the result I got. Some of those movements, especially every single second Superman is on screen in this movie, I had an ear-to-ear smile, and not even Marvel movies can do that. I haven't even had a Star Wars movie do that except for this movie, right there. I haven't had one of those moments in a while, so that was definitely, and yes, you can hate on it all you want, I love this movie, and as a hardcore DC fan, it got me even more excited to what I was going to see in the future from DC. And I don't know how it is January and I'm sweating, but we're just going to go with it. Alright, Spider-Man Homecoming. Now, if you want to talk about movies that I've been waiting all my life to see, this movie was huge for me, because ever since I was a little kid, ever since I was tiny, ever since I was like, the first time I walked out of the Avengers movie and I knew that there was a Spider-Man movie opening in like 2 months, I always would ask my dad, why can't that Spider-Man be in the Avengers? And I remember always breaking my heart, because learning from a young age that, oh, this studio has this character, this studio has the other characters, like, it's never going to happen. And then Civil War came out and blew our minds, not only how amazing that movie was, but bringing back Spider-Man. And this is a movie I waited, well, at the time, it was 14 years ready to see a Marvel Cinematic Universe Spider-Man movie. And Tom Holland was great in it. Michael Keaton was great. One of the greatest twists that I've seen in a while for a superhero movie. Not very few superhero movies has caught me off guard and surprised me like that with their twists. And that is a great credit to it, and I just could not believe this movie got made, and that's like makes 2017 a staple of things I never thought I'd see actually came true. Now, number 2, I think you can understand what the last 2 movies are, and this one is Logan. Oh man, you could tell I'm a huge Wolverine fan. I carry this around my neck for the past, I don't even know how long, but it's been years. This movie, I'm gonna be not even gonna be blunt about it. This movie made me cry. Like, in very few movies, I think this is the only movie, in fact, that ever got an emotional reaction out of me, ever. I've never cried in a movie, and this is the one that I will proudly say is the one that makes me cry, because this movie is, I've seen all of Hugh Jackman's movies, and I've lived off of Wolverine for years and years and years, and to see one of my childhood heroes tragically die on screen with his daughter watching, I'm sorry, if that isn't, I get it if it doesn't resonate with you, but it resonates with me personally, because that has been one of my heroes forever, and that's not even taking into account how amazing this movie is, how beautiful this movie is, and it really is the Wolverine movie, the Old Man Logan movie I've been wanting forever. Now, next up, I think you all guess it, Star Wars, nothing but Star Wars, Star Wars. The Last Jedi, easily my favorite movie of 2017, even though I did see it, I think a couple weeks ago, and I've seen it 5 times for now, and the date I'm recording this is January 5th, so you can, yeah, exactly. So, I love this movie. I don't even care. I guess this year was a year of criticism too, because I love this movie. I love the chances it's taken, and I love it. You can watch my full review on this with my friend Kumar, but you can just really get to see I love this movie, and this is easily, for me, I think seeing it 5 times, it is the best Star Wars movie, in my opinion, that we've ever gotten since Empire Strikes Back. More again, if you want to watch my more review on that, watch the actual review I put. So yeah, there's a shameless plug for you. Now, next up in TV, I'm going to run through this quick. CW. I'm a big fan of the Arrowverse shows. I love Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, Supergirl, and Arrow with a passion. So seeing Crisis on Earth X happen, it was like seriously having another movie because it was 4 hours of content. And I know I threw in that last year as one of my movies, but I thought it would be more fair this year. I love this movie. I even call it a movie. I love these shows, and I love what they did to bring them all together. Each even make a better crossover than last year, which we all thought was impossible. Speaking of bringing them together, Defenders. Ever since we were promised a Daredevil series, and then we were promised an Iron Fist, a Jessica Jones, and a Luke Cage series, we were waiting for Defenders, and I'm happy to say that I actually really love Defenders, and I was very pleased, and one of my favorite Netflix shows, period. And I'm so happy that they went with 8 episodes this time, because I feel like 13, they're really losing their ground with a couple of those, so I'm glad that they stuck to that. And I have not finished Punisher yet. I know you can scream at me as much as you want, even though I actually have met Jon Bernthal and I love him from Walking Dead. But from what I've seen, I am loving it, and I am definitely looking like it is the one of, if not the best Netflix series that they have done. Speaking of Netflix, Stranger Things, amazing. Definitely the Empire Strikes Back of season 1. I cannot believe what they did with that series. I am completely in love with these characters, and I love the franchise as a whole. Can't believe and so happy that David Harbour is Hellboy now, and I'm totally down with Millie Bobby Brown, Princess Leia. Just saying, putting it out there. Alright, Walking Dead. And now if you look at my channel, I have the Negan cosplay, which is thankfully to you guys one of these highest viewed Negan costume showcases on the internet, period, and I'm so happy for that. But how do I think of All Out War? I love All Out War. Yes. I don't even care if people have turned their back on the show. I love this show. I love this show. It's my favorite television show of all time. And All Out War, I think, is shaping out to be one of the best seasons of this show, period, with the action and the characters, and especially some of the character deaths really hit me really hard this year. Not as hard as season 7, but pretty close. Now, I'm going to briefly go over a little bit of comics for a little bit. I am actually getting back, well, not getting back into comics. I love comic books, but some of them that I am reading and / listening to via Comics Explained is Dark Knight's Metal. I feel like that is, period, one of the best comics I think I've ever read, and it's definitely going to hopefully go down in history. Along with DC's Rebirth, has been amazing. Marvel, I'm not caught up with Marvel. Star Wars, I know is amazing via my dad, especially Vader's new series, and then I think the Star Wars comics themselves have just been very consistent. And then, so, now that I've gone over everything that I have been listed as far as what came out this year, there's one other thing as far as announcements go that I want to talk about, and that is nobody ever thought that, okay, Disney has enough money to buy another studio. Whoever thought of that? As far as dreams coming true, this was the ultimate dream come true, knowing that Disney bought Fox. And not that they just bought Fox. They are hopefully going to have them all by 18 months' time, and hopefully sometime next year. Or yeah, something like that. But I do not care. This is hands down one of the best news that I've ever heard. And just the amount of possibilities for this deal is insane. Like the fact that I could finally have my Wolverine, hopefully Hugh Jackman Wolverine, but my Wolverine Spider-Man on screen with the Avengers, and then you can't show me anything else that would satisfy me as a nerd after that. Just saying. Now, going on to even more shameless plugs, some things I did not record and I wish I did, but my dad did because he has another YouTube channel, so I'm going to leave links to 2 things. One of them, I did talent shows and during this year, one in May and then one in, I believe, I think it was November. Nope, not November, it was December. So, what I did was, obviously I'm a Star Wars fan, so what I do is I play with lightsabers, and I performed, I think the first time, at one of my churches. It was around 500 people, and I performed in front of. And as a talent show, everyone was doing dancing, everyone was doing singing. A couple guys were doing a couple different things, but I busted out a lightsaber. I killed all the lights out, and I busted out a lightsaber on stage, and it got some of the best reactions. And it really made me proud to represent my fandom in such a huge way. I did that in May at my church, and I did that at my high school on, I believe, December 15th. So very recently. My dad has 2 in-depth videos to show you how the process of all that went down, and you can go check those out, and that's on my dad's channel, which is more of my family-oriented channel. So if you want to see what's going on in my life, you can check that out as well. But another thing is cosplays. I actually did do the cosplay this year, and I really regret not recording it because this one actually turned out really awesome. And in light of the Punisher, I made a Punisher vest, and I did a Punisher cosplay, which actually turned out awesome. I'm going to put pictures up here now. Of my Punisher vest, which was honestly one of the funnest things. And what I love most about it is that I finished that in under 5 days on October break from school, just in ready for time for Halloween, and I'm very proud of that. Now, I think that is everything I wanted to talk about as far as 2017 goes. This was honestly, to be a fan, to be a geek, this was a great year, and I could not be happier with everything that we got. I'm so happy to see that I walked out of a movie theater every time this year, genuinely happy and genuinely excited for what's to come. And 2018, I'm hoping to just have hopefully a lot more videos than before. So thank you so much for watching. I know it's kind of a long video, but I crammed a lot of stuff into it, which should have been like multiple videos of each stuff, including like reviews and movies and stuff like that I should have. So grabbing that I crammed all of 2017 into one 16, probably 17-minute video is awesome. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in 2018 with hopefully new videos. Okay, first mess about 2018. I did not talk about gaming. One thing I do love is Star Wars. And what do you think was the one thing of gaming that came out in Star Wars this year? It was Battlefront, and I love Battlefront. I think the first game I really liked, but the fact if you give me a controller and you can tell me I can play at Darth Maul and mow down clones, yeah, you got my money right there. And the fact that the story was so indulged into Star Wars canon, great, loved it. Now, I cannot believe that I forgot that, but it's in there, and I love Battlefront, and I love the story. Iden Versio is an awesome character, and I'm super happy with that campaign, and super happy with the multiplayer. Loved it.